Hello and welcome to the Real Estate Regroup Show. I am your host, LJ Walker, a real estate investor helping you realize your dreams of owning a home or investing in one. So recently in the news, there was an elderly couple in Georgia who had basically been the victim of deed fraud. They own their home outright. There was no mortgage on it. They've been living there for 20 years. They did receive some some letters in the mail saying that they took out a second mortgage, but they ignored it. The next thing they know is that a man comes and says that he bought that property from foreclosure. He took them to court, and the judge ordered that they leave. The husband, who was 77 years old, was arrested because he was like, this is my house, I'm not going. All right. So some of you may say to yourself, well, gee, how can this happen? Well, what is deed fraud anyway? So let me break it down for you. Deed fraud is basically when criminals, they can record fraudulent deeds, liens, and mortgages against a property without the owner's knowledge or consent. A lot of times they are able to steal your personal information from you. Like, let's say you throw away certain things in your garbage and you don't shred or at least place the paper in water so that the ink runs. You don't shred that information off of that paper. So they can easily pull information that way. Sometimes they also forge signatures, and sometimes, yes, it's true, notaries don't always check to make sure that you are who you say you are. So signatures are forged. And then you all know that people get fake IDs, right? That's been going on for quite some time now. Sometimes also, there have been times when the homeowner did know, but what they do is sometimes they get into a deal with the homeowner. Here's what they do. They'll sweet talk the homeowner and say, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do the other, just sign this piece of paper. But when you read the paper, and sometimes the homeowners don't read the paper says basically you're giving the home over to them. That's also deed fraud as well. So it takes on different shapes. It happens all over the United States. It is not just in Georgia. I know that the article says, oh, it's rampant in Georgia. It's rampant all over. Now, there are some places that don't have it as much as others because there are laws in place to protect the homeowner. Georgia does not protect homeowners that well. I know because I've had property in Georgia. And it is hell, especially outside of Atlanta. They're very inefficient. A lot of times the recorder's office and even the tax assessor's offices in some of those counties, they'll have one person read the email, one person answer the phone, and one person do the fax. If one of the people go on vacation, the other two people don't say, okay, I'll do that person's job. No, they don't do it at all. You got to wait for that person to come back from vacation in order to do the job. And also another thing is a lot of things that are automated, like let's say in New York, like we can pay a lot of things on the computer. You can't in some counties. You have to physically be there. Unfortunately, that's how it is. And even if you can pay on over the computer, sometimes their computer system is a mess. It's out of whack. And you still are not going to get the best treatment until you actually physically get up and go there and be there in person. I know this for a fact after owning 2 homes in Georgia, right outside of Atlanta. Okay, so I do feel for this particular couple. In New York, recently, we do have deed fraud protection where you can get alerts if the deed changes. The city will alert you and let you know, either by text message or by email. If you do suspect that you are the victim of deed fraud, then you can definitely go to the New York State Attorney General's office and file a complaint. That's one of the things you do. You can also go to the SEC as well, believe it or not, especially when you are, like me, on the mortgage note side of things. Okay? But yes, all states and all cities experience it, but all states and all cities don't have protection. I'll give you another example. I bought a note in Birmingham, Alabama, right? I shared this with those of you who have followed me. You're familiar with this. There was paperwork that was missing from my notes. The assignments were missing. It was assigned to me, but there wasn't paperwork showing that it was assigned to the person before me. You understand? So my lawyer caught that, and so did the tax assessor's office. So what happens? It wasn't recorded. Alabama don't play. Alabama may be slow. Alabama may be a whole lot of things, but Alabama don't play with those deeds. Oh, they on top of that. Another state that doesn't play is Ohio. I have a deed that I have to record. I submitted the paperwork to be recorded. They sent it back to me. You know why? Because the notary's date stamp expired. Some of these city recorders offices are really on top of things. If a paper is missing, if the assignments are wrong, even with the lot description, you don't have to record that piece of paper, to be honest with you. But if your lot description don't match up, they won't record it. They won't. You know, and then also there are some where every single signature has to be notarized. Every single signature on the document has to be notarized for some states, for some cities, and for some counties. But unfortunately, Georgia is not one of them. And Georgia, basically, the homeowners down there, they need to get, and also the banks, okay, they need to talk to their local legislatures, and they need to speak to the Georgia, State Attorney General, and let them know, hey, this is an issue. The complaint forms, you don't have to pay for them. You can download them from the computer, and you can write in and say, hey, this is what happened. This is what's going on. Go to your town halls and also make a complaint. Say something to them. Because at this point, just about anybody's home can be taken over. And yes, it can affect not just the homeowner, but it also affects the banks. Now, in this particular case, it doesn't, because they did not have a mortgage. But it does happen to people who still do have a mortgage. Now, the blessings, in a way, for those who do have a mortgage is this. You have banks, you have mortgage note holders like myself. Now, not everybody's on top of things, right? And one of the reasons why is not always because of laziness, it's because lack of knowledge. But what I realize is, after being in this industry for a while, I need to check every once in a while to make sure that on the mortgage note that I bought, even after it is recorded, that the name of the homeowner is still there. I got to make sure that my name is still there as, well, not my name per se. My business name is there as being the lender. Oh, because I'm on title. Trust and believe. I'm going to be on title. My company is. Let me correct that. My company will be. All right. So guys, that is the information that I wanted to share with you. That's what I wanted to let you guys know. Feel free to pass this amongst your friends. Remember, each one, reach one, teach one. Bye for now. Until next time, have a good night.